Hello and welcome to the A3 video 2 of 2, and in this one we're going to look at some old exam questions, solving equations, and we're going to do them using the change side, change sign method. Now if you don't like that method and you prefer the one you did in class, which was doing the same to both sides, then use that. The method you see on the video will be different, but the answers should be the same. Okay, so let's have a look. Now there are 10 questions. We'll have a little look at the first one together, and then you can press pause and have a go at them and check your answers. So the first one, we've got 8x equals 48. So we want to get x on its own. That's what solve means. So there's an 8 getting in the way. There it is. What's that 8 doing? It's multiplying the x. So when we move it to the other side, it's going to do the opposite of multiply, which is divide. X equals 48 divided by 8. X equals 6. Let's have a look at part 2. X plus 7 equals 15. So there's a plus 7 in the way of getting x on its own. So that's got to go to the other side. When we move that, it'll do the opposite, which is minus 7. 15 minus 7 is 8. Now, in the exam, you could have just written the answer straight away. Just written x equals 6, x equals 8, and you would have got the marks. But we're doing it this way, just so you can practice the method. So, over to you. Press pause. Press play when you want the answers, and if there's any problems, press play to check them. Okay, speak to you in a minute. Okay, so how do we get on? Let's have a look at number 2. 4x equals 24. What's getting in the way of having x on its own? There's a 4. What is the 4 doing to the x? It is multiplying. When we move it, it'll do the opposite, which is divide. 24 divided by 4 is 6. Okay, part 2. X plus 6 equals 14. There's a plus 6 that we're going to move from the left to the right. When we move it, plus changes to a minus. Does the opposite. 14 minus 6 is 8. That's number 2. Quite nice and straightforward. Let's have a look then. Number 3. Similar kind of question. X plus 7 equals 12. There's a plus 7 we're going to move. We move it from the left to the right, and it'll change to minus. 12 minus 7 is 5. Our first one with a divide, so we've got y divided by 3 equals 6. So that 3 needs to move, and if we move that, we have y on its own, and we've solved the equation. So when we move the 3, it does the opposite. It's dividing on the left, so it'll multiply when we move it to the right. 6 times 3, 18. Okay, let's have a look at question 4. So this is one with 2 things to move in. Which do we move first, plus 18 or divide by 2? That's it, it's the plus 18. So plus 18 moves from left to right, and it becomes minus 18. So let's just tidy that up. 26 minus 18 is 8. X divided by 2 equals 8. Now, have we got x on its own? No. We've got to divide by 2. So we're going to move that to the other side, where it will become a multiplied by 2. And x equals 16. And there's a nice example there of what you've got to write in the exam to get the 2 marks. And it shows the method nice and clearly. Okay, question number 5. Similar question, x divided by 3 plus 15 equals 25. Plus 15 is the one we're going to move first. That moves from left to right to become a minus. 25 minus 15, every little tidy up, is 10. Have we got x on its own? Nope. X divided by 3 is 10. So that divide by 3 is going to go to the other side, and it's 10 times 3. And we don't have to write another line, x equals 30. You can just write equals 30 on the end like that. There we go, number 5. Okay, let's have a look at number 6. So another 2-step one, we got 4x plus 3 equals 21. What should we move first, plus 3 or 4? Remember, it's the thing that's not connected to the x, so it's plus 3 we move first. Plus 3 is going to move left to right, and it'll do the opposite. 21 minus 3, let's have a tidy up, 18. And again, we can write it like that. Okay. Now, what's getting in the way of x being on its own? We've got a 4. What's that 4 doing? It's multiplying. So it's going to divide on the other side. 18 divided by 4 is 4.5. Okay, so you can do it line by line, or you can do it that style there. Number 7. And these are the kind of ones we've been seeing lately on exams. So we've got x's on both sides. So we're going to move x's to the left, numbers to the right. So let's have a look. What shall we move first? Well, I've just written it out again there. So let's move that minus 7. Minus 7 goes to the right. to become a plus 7. Let's have a tidy up. Okay, now we're not rushing, we're not moving two things in the same step or anything, we're just taking our time, nice and easy in the exam. We've got more than 3 minutes to do this in the exam, so there's no rush. Now we're going to move that 2x there from right to left. It's actually invisible plus in front of the 2 there, so it's plus 2x. When we move it to the left, it'll be minus 2x. Once we moved something, we have a tidy up. 6x minus 2x is 4x equals 18. Have we got x on its own? No. There's a 4 multiplying it. Move the 4 from left to right. It'll do the opposite. 18 divided by 4, 4.5. There we go. There's number 7. Oh, number 8's got 2 parts. Let's have a look at the first one. First thing we're going to move, minus 7. Minus 7 goes from left to right, so it becomes plus 7. Now 3 plus 7 is 10. We haven't quite got x on its own yet. There's a 4 multiplying. Move that to the other side. It's going to divide. 10 divided by 4, 2.5. Excellent. And we've got 2 things with x, 2 numbers on part B. So let's move the plus 2 first from left to right. So plus 2 goes over to the right, becomes a minus 2. Now we've got to have a little bit of a tidy up. We've got 3 and then minus 2. So 3 minus 2 is 1. We've got 7x is 1 plus 5x. That plus 5x is going to have to move to the left-hand side. So that now becomes a minus 5x. We've moved it. Let's have a tidy up. 2x equals 1. What's that 2 doing? It's multiplying. So when we move it, it'll divide. X equals 1 divided by 2. Now 1 divided by 2 is a half, or 0.5. There we go. We're nearly there. Number 9, oh, we got some brackets. First thing we've got to do is get rid of those brackets. Well, we got 4 times 6x is 24x. 4 times minus 7, minus 28. So now it's actually not too bad an equation, is it? What should we move first? Minus 28 or 24? Let's move minus 28. It'll move to the right to become a plus 28. Let's have a tidy up. 32 plus 28 is 60. What's that 24 doing? It's multiplying. So when you move it, it'll do the opposite. What's the opposite of multiply? Divide. 60 divided by 24, 2.5 or 2.5. Excellent. And the last one. So we've got x's on both sides, brackets. Quite a nasty little question, but we can do this. First thing, get rid of the brackets. 5x minus 7. Now 3 times x is 3x. 3 times plus 2 is plus 6. X's, we want those on the left. Numbers, we want them on the right. So minus 7 over to the right-hand side with you, and you're going to change to a plus 7. We've moved something, so we tidy up. 6 plus 7 is 13. Got to move that 3x. Now that's a plus 3x. Oh, the shading went. And that's going to become a minus 3x. So 5x minus 3x. A little tidy up. 2x equals 13. Have we finished? Not quite. That 2's multiplying. So on the other side, it's going to divide 13 divided by 2. 6.5. There we go. It's quite a nice source of marks in the exam. It's something you can practice, and you remember the rules. You can get really good at this quite quickly. If there's any you got wrong, go back over them. Make sure you can get them right before you pack up. Okay, well, it's bye from now, and I will speak to you now on the next video, which will be a 4. Bye for now.